what we call the higher premium services like animation should be further supported and promoted, which DTI through the Board of Investment is
Well,
doing.
when we say, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Speaker, when we say promoted, how is this done? I'm very curious because during my last term, 2004 to 2007, we were already hearing of the BPO industry, but not that much, and all of a sudden, the sector soared in a very impressive way. So we'd like to know how the DTI and the other sectors of the government promoted this to become what it is today, so that considering the employment opportunities, not only in Metro Manila, because I understand that there are BPO sectors already being established outside Metro Manila, and this is good for balanced development. How is this being promoted, and what part of the budget, Mr. Speaker, this thing is sponsored, can be used and can be probably supported some more by professional intervention?
Mr. Speaker, the DTI periodically conducts roadshows in the U.S. and in Europe. And in fact, the strategic move is to eventually get our business process outsourcing to knowledge process outsourcing, which is the higher level, higher premium type of services. There are incentives being promoted also that can be granted by the BOI as a specific budget for this sort of promotion.
Is there a specific unit in the DTI that focuses on this? Because this sector is already big. The opinion of this representation is that one cannot allow this to be simply an ad hoc responsibility of an already existing unit. I believe that the DTI should really have a dedicated big unit to focus on this, considering its enormous potential. Mr. Speaker, this thing is sponsored.
Mr. Speaker, there's an investment promotions unit within the BOI that helps in the promotion of this type of services in the country. And that's within the BOI budget. But there's also a separate small budget outside the BOI where there's an allocation of about 10 million pesos for promotions, what we call e-service, global services, trade show. There's a 10 million support for BPO animation type of services, and there's another 5 million peso allocation for internet promotion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, just to have a feel of how big this is in relative terms, I think in 2008 we had an export level of about $50 billion. Here, we are talking as of the end of 2008 of $6.1 billion, which is more than 10% of the total exports of the country, and growing, not by 5%, 15%, but growing by a very rapid rate. Some people are talking of 20, 30% per annum. And therefore, if we look at that growth rate, maybe by the middle of the next decade, Mr. Speaker, the biggest sponsor, this sector might even overtake the OFW sector and might potentially equal the level of our electronic sector, which accounts for almost 70% of our exports.
Mr. Speaker, I think that's absolutely correct. And there's so much possibility for the BPO industry. In fact, I think the goal of DTI and the other agencies and the president, and actually even the private sector, is to in the long term eventually surpass India in this industry. And I think we can do it not just with the support of DTI, but with the support of the various departments, like Department of Education. As your honor knows, part of the appeal of Filipino workers for this industry is the English proficiency of Filipino workers. So DepEd and the other agencies really must also give their support in terms of prioritizing the proficiency in English, education in computer science, IT, and really the technical type of education. So it really has to be a support from all of us. And I agree that this is one particular industry where we can shine and really eventually become a much equally, maybe even bigger than the OFW revenue that they bring into the country, and hopefully even surpass our total export industry.
Well, the single sponsor mentioned DepEd. I think we should include CHED, we should include TESDA, and I'm happy to note that we have some guests here. They're on deck, I think, after the DTI, the state universities and colleges, who can play a very important role in making sure that we have more people qualified to make us more globally competitive. We are already globally competitive. I'd like to show I'm sure the civil sponsor is familiar with this. What is the share of the Philippines? How does the Philippines stand in the global market? We used to be a distant, maybe number 4, number 5 from India. When Thomas Brightman wrote the book, The World is Flat, the Philippines was nominally mentioned. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. But today, if Brightman would again write a sequel to his book, he will have to mention the Philippines in a more prominent way, because India has 37% of the market. Next is Canada. It's so close to the US that I guess they corner a lot of the BPO business in the US. But the Philippines is not that far away, 15% and growing. And it's good that our business sponsor mentioned that we can, and we should aim at catching up with India. And again, this is an area where we are already globally competitive, and we should be more globally competitive, and the DTI must play a very critical role here. That's why I'm asking about